Come back.
I hit you with my car.
What?
I know.
Couple of quick scenes from the latest film from Ari Aster. It's a movie called Beau Is Afraid, and yes, that is Joaquin Phoenix. Nathan Lane also in the cast. Patti LuPone also in the cast. And it is an interesting take on the Oedipus complex and the struggle to overcome it. That's how I'm characterizing it, but I'm going to turn it over to two people who have their own takes on it, and apparently, as we're going to hear, very different takes. Eli's here. Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Jackson is back. Jackson Weaver, I always know when we get twice the review, it's going to be a good conversation. So welcome back, Jackson. Great to see you. Okay, when we pitched this in our meeting yesterday, Eli will be here to talk about Beau Is Afraid. We're like, what? What is this movie, Beau Is Afraid? Some of us hadn't even heard of it. So tell me more. What is this thing?
It sounded like you were struggling to describe it, Heather, and that is entirely appropriate. Let me try and do justice. It is an epic journey about one man trying to get home to his mother, but the world is stacked against him. Beau, Joaquin Phoenix's character, endures calamity after calamity. He is chased, he is kidnapped. This is the first script that Ari Aster, the celebrated director who has horrified us with Midsommar, with Hereditary, this is the first thing he wrote, but it was only after he was that successful at making those horror films that he had the leverage and the money to make this film that is an odyssey, which begins with a phone call to Mom.
Calling to say that I'm so excited to see you tomorrow. You're my angel and I love you. Okay, I love you. Okay, bye, sweetie. I love you.
Are you at the airport?
I'm on my way. It's not safe, is it? What do you think I should do?
I'm sure you'll do the right thing, sweetheart.
I'm sure you'll do the right thing. If there's one thing that he lives in fear of, it is disappointing his mother. There is Joaquin Phoenix. He has spent his life cowering in his mother's shadow. It begins with him trying to get to her, escaping this apartment which exists in this kind of urban hellhole. The streets are filled with naked, screaming serial killers. It is manic, slapstick. It would almost be hilarious if it wasn't so sad. And when Beau escapes in true Wile E. Coyote fashion, he is hit by a bus only to wake up in the bed of his kidnappers, played by Nathan Lane and Amy Ryan. Take a look.
Feeling sad about going home, Beau? Must feel totally unreal.
I'm supposed to be leaving.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Yeah, you might have some trouble leaving due to the ankle bracelet that they have you wearing, or maybe the psychotic daughter whose bedroom that you're sleeping in, or maybe something to do with that war veteran who is sleeping in the trailer in the backyard. Now, Ari Aster is the director who was pulling Beau's strings. I had a chance to ask him what is going on, and he sees this all, Heather, as a comedy.
I relate to Beau pretty intensely, honestly. And you know, I wouldn't describe the film as a horror film. If anything, I wanted to make a sad nightmare comedy.
Sad nightmare comedy.
About an unlived life.
And as the sad nightmare comedy continues, he will meet a theater company. This will segue into an amazing animated adventure and then a final confrontation with the titular mother where all is revealed, or maybe it all just unravels.
Well, you had me at LuPone. That's the mom. I'm in as long as you're talking about Patti LuPone. But I didn't want to interrupt you, and I didn't, Jackson. We were just both of us just laying back, just so you can lay out your vision. Jackson, over to you. You've also seen this. You have a lot of background in this, I understand, so let rip.
Well, I mean, Eli said it's almost comedic, almost funny. I might differ with just the word almost. This movie, for me, it was about as funny as maybe a dogfight, and it was even more mean. This movie is so cruel, so angry, so pessimistic. It is hard to watch. The entire time I was watching this movie, the one thing that I was reminded of is an older movie, John Waters' Desperate Living. There's a scene in which one of the characters puts a toddler or baby in the fridge. They all scream, "Take it out." And the joke is that they not only did it in real life, they did it twice. And all of the jokes here in this movie feel like that. The joke is that everyone's soul is dark, everything is horrible, no one is redeemable. Don't like any of these characters. Now, you both mentioned this movie is kind of like an edible complex nightmare that just goes and goes and goes for almost 3 hours, and it is successful in the message that it tries to evoke, in the themes it tries to explore. Ari Aster is an unqualified, borderline genius. He knows exactly what he was doing. When we talk about films, we often talk about, oh, they didn't succeed in this goal. They didn't put together their vision as they wanted to. Ari Aster did exactly what he wanted to. He wanted me to hate this movie. Unfortunately, he succeeded.
Jackson, I don't think he wanted you to hate this movie. And he says that he thinks it's quite funny. Now, I do think that there are some comedic aspects, but I also will agree that Joaquin Phoenix, who is doing this amazing performance, and he is one of the most committed actors we have, but because he's playing this guy who just lives to try and make his mother happy, and he is so sad and so pathetic, I mean, that was, to me, part of the challenge of the film. Like, this is an impossible character to root for. I think if you took, like, the individual parts of this film, the amazing urban chaos at the beginning, the theater company aspect, the old weird kind of suburban, surreal kidnappers, all of those on their own are fascinating. If they were mini movies, I would recommend all of them. But my biggest problem is I like logic. I like 2 + 2 = 4, and here 2 + 2 = tomato. Like, nothing adds up, and that to me is frustrating. And I asked Ari about this and saying, like, people are going to look through this with tweezers looking for clues, and he said, great, this is made for tweezers. You should see it in IMAX just because it's so layered. And this was shot in Montreal, and there's so many beautiful details. And the bedroom wall of the teenage daughter who has all these funny K-pop posters, like, everything is there intentionally. But again, Jackson, when I try and do the math and make it all, okay, what does it all mean? I surrender.
You want to have a quick rebuttal, Jackson, to all of that?
I can sneak in so quickly. Okay. So there is an aspect of film criticism that you're looking at how talented, how smart, how well put together was this movie. There's another aspect of film criticism that's just, did you enjoy it? So this movie was amazingly put together, so smart, so deep, layered, detailed. But while I was watching this movie, I write notes. By hour 2, my notes over and over is, oh my God, when will this end?
Right. Let me get out. You're writing like a hostage note.
Okay, numbers for Dark and Mean. What are you giving this? Jackson?
Dark and Mean, Ari Aster is a genius. He did what he meant to do, so I had to give him some stars, but I'm only going to give him 2 because this movie was a hard watch, an excruciating watch, not something I'm going to go back to.
I thought you were going negative, so like 2 for me seems like it's amazing. And Eli, for your take?
The audience I was with, they laughed, they gasped. At one point, a woman behind me said, "Oh, Lord," and for that, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. I think I need to see it again. I just don't know if I'm ready. And I have 3 hours.
I'm guessing Jackson's not seeing it again. I mean, I don't know. You don't have to. It's pretty clear.